Hello and welcome to another TCS broadcast. I'm Claude and I'm here with Ethan.
For this week, our international stories are both located in Africa. In 1984, scientists started recognizing that there was a severe drought happening in the Sahel rainforest. The Sahel rainforest is a large strip of savanna and rainforest right below the Sahara. They called this the Hunger Belt. At first, there were many people who wanted this to be changed and started protesting. To help fix this, there has been a program going on since 2007 called the Great Green Wall. In this program, they combat desertification by providing life with a future to its inhabitants. What exactly is the Great Green Wall, though? The Great Green Wall is a project that plans to cover a 10-mile by 5,000-mile radius with trees. In the past 13 years, they've already covered about 25 million hectares worth of trees and are going for 100 million. It was first expected to be finished by the year 2030, but recent studies have shown that at the current pace, it'll be done by 2063. This plan was not backed by many ecologists because they say that the solution is not to plant trees, but to opt for the natural regeneration of the land and identify the flora of each area to protect it. What this means is that they should hope the land will heal itself and the people should identify every organism there and protect it. There are two big problems with the Great Green Wall. First, that it's being done a lot slower than they predicted, and second, planting trees is not enough to revive the whole rainforest. There are a few people who are not very impressed with this project, but most people think this is a step to a better Earth. Almost every country inside or near the Sahel has taken part in the Great Green Wall. There are people who have been protesting that the tree planting needs to be lessened and they need to focus on the animals and plants living there. Personally, I think this is great because it's helping a lot with both desertification and deforestation. Although I do think that the plans were a little off and they should do more than planting trees. Now let's move on to Nigeria, which is the southeast part of Sahel, helping with the Great Green Wall project.
In Nigeria, protesters were blocking a highway in Lagos to draw attention to their struggles against police brutality. Nigerian soldiers shot at protesters at Lekki toll gate, killing at least 10. That night, soldiers and police attacked protesters across several parts of Lagos and elsewhere. Amnesty International reports at least 38 Nigerians died in the clashes, with dozens more injured. Nigerians believe that the attack was carefully planned. While protesters were on the road and dancing to songs from a live DJ, the Lagos state governor imposed a curfew that started at 4 p.m. When the protesters refused to leave, the operators of the toll removed all CCTV cameras from the toll booths and the lights cut out. Soldiers then arrived and opened fire on people between 6:45 p.m. to 9 p.m. The reason for the protest is because the police authorities in Lagos established the SARS, Special Anti-Robbery Squad, in the early 90s to combat armed robbery in the city and in its suburbs. SARS then later became a part of Nigeria's national police in order to be able to fight against armed criminals. Things started to change though. The unit began operating without any accountability and engaged in human rights violations against Nigerian citizens, such as extreme brutality, extrajudicial killings, enforced disappearance, torture, armed extortion, and kidnapping. Youth groups in 2017 had been peacefully protesting against SARS. The Nigerian federal government set up a committee to investigate complaints against SARS. However, the committee was in no use because their findings were never made public and SARS faced no consequences. These Nigerian youth groups have been specifically targeted by SARS. More than half of its total population of about 200 million is under 30. Nigerian police often target young people who are carrying laptops, smartphones, or other gadgets, accusing them of being internet fraudsters. This is nothing new. Nigeria has been in this type of situation since the mid-80s. Protesters are demanding concrete steps to end all forms of police brutality and justice for crimes committed by SARS.
Now let's get into TCS news.
On Friday, we watched Hard Times at Douglas High. It's a 2008 documentary about what happens inside a school that does not get enough attention by the government that it needs. I've heard of the school before, but I never thought that the school would neglect their students and not care for their futures. It just comes to show how the school system does not help out public schools at all. I didn't experience anything like that even in elementary school. You can see if one side does not invest their time, money, or even patience, that the other side will not even want to try as well. You can see that the school was not doing their job correctly. Teachers did not have good communication skills with the parents of the students, which resulted in giving the parents misinformation thinking that their child is doing okay in school and did not have to worry about them. The students as well sensed that they were not cared about, and then when someone started caring about them, it was too late. Or sometimes they think having an education was really just a social status. Overall, the documentary really gave us a good look into the reality of a public school.
I really liked this movie as well and thought that it had a great meaning behind it. After we watched the movie, everybody participated in a great conversation. Everyone had great points and really expanded our point of views. The whole movie really made me think about how messed up a lot of schools are and that there needs to be a change in the system. I think that if the staff members and teachers showed more care for their students and actually pushed them to be successful, there would be a lot less kids who didn't like school or would drop out.
Now, we'd like to thank everybody for lunches this week.
Thank you to Mr. Ken for the Chipotle on Wednesday.
Thank you, Miss Mary Louise, for the roast beef sandwiches on Thursday.
Thank you, Miss Sam, Jayla's sponsor, for the Chick-fil-A on Monday.
And thank you, Miss Peg, for the chicken pot pie on Tuesday.
And that's all for this week's TCS Student News. See you next week.